Hello dear students, this is our subject dynamic macroeconomics. In today's lecture we will talk about the dynamic models in economics. I am your instructor Dr.Alam. Outline of this lecture, there are mainly three subtopics in this particular lecture: introduction, statics, and dynamics in economic analysis. The difference between static and dynamic relationship. In the introduction part of this particular lecture, there are many areas of economics where time plays an important role at firm level and at household level. There are two economic agents. One is firm and the other one is a household, which normally do not react instantly to the change. With the passage of time, when there is change occurred in time, normally the firm and household do not react. For example, taxes, wages, and business profits, they take their time to make the decision to adjust the behavior. Moreover, because of information lags, time often goes by before change in economic circumstances are recognized and some sort of adaptive action is taken by economic agents, that is household, firm, and the government. So previously we have talked about the two economic agent, household, firm. Here the third economic agent is the government. There are also institutional arrangements, social, legal agreements, and social norms, which imply that we will expect a gradual adjustment to be typical of economic behavior. Annual or biannual wage bargaining is one important example of such an institution, responsible for irregular pay rise at the individual level and smooth wage development at the aggregate level. At individual level, at micro level, while at aggregate level at macro level. For example, the manufacturing of goods is not instantaneous. Although economists often formulate model as if production is instantaneous, but takes considerable time, even years in the case of a project with huge capital investment. If you take the example of manufacturing goods, industrial goods, it takes considerable time, even number of years is required for those projects with huge capital investment. Dynamic behavior is also induced by the fact that many economic decisions are heavily influenced by what firms, households, and the government anticipate about the future. Here they talked about the future expectations. Often expectations formation will attribute to a large weight to past development, since rational anticipations usually build on experience. Although the example in the previous slides all represents dynamic in the form of gradual and slow reaction to change in economic incentives, there are other examples of dynamic behavior which involves large and instantaneous changes at the point in time where a shock occurs. So far we have discussed the dynamic behavior or the dynamic role in economics. A classical example in the case of a single market characterized by a perfect competition. Perfect competition is one of the market structure A demand shift in such a market will lead to an immediate change in the price. There are certain characteristics of the perfect competitive market. You have a large number of buyers and sellers, perfect knowledge, etc. In macroeconomics, so-called portfolio theories of the market for foreign exchange imply that the nominal exchange rate reacts strongly and with no time lags to change in the net supply of currency to the central bank. Here in macroeconomics, there is one example of the foreign exchange market. The hallmark of dynamic adjustment therefore is not that the response to a shock is necessarily delayed, but the adjustment process takes several time periods. The effect of shock literally spill over to the following periods. Usually using the terminology of Ragnar Fresh, who was a Norwegian economist and who has got the Nobel Prize in 1969. His main contribution was towards econometrics and production theory, and his duration was from 1895 to 1973. His duration was from 1895 to 1973. His main contribution was to econometrics and production theory. He has got Nobel Prize in 1969. So according to this Norwegian economist who formalized macrodynamic as a discipline, we can speak of impulse to the macroeconomic system, which are propagated by the system's own mechanism into effects that last for several periods after the occurrence of the shock. So dynamic behavior by economic agents, as we have said, economic agents we mean household, firm, and government, and the dynamic response in the economic system are typical features which we want to be able to model by using economic theories and data. As a first step, need to establish a definition of a dynamic model as opposed to a static model. So normally there are two types of models. Two types. One is static and the other one is dynamic. A dynamic theory or a model is made of a relationship between variables that refer to different time periods, where time is not fixed. While on the other side, when all the variables included in the theory refer to the same time period, the system of the relationship is static. With the same time period, when we talked about the relationship among the various variables, that will be considered a static. But when we talk about a different time period, then it will be a dynamic model or a theory. The difference between static and dynamic relationships. Consider a partial equilibrium model. A static demand schedule using Frisch's definition. Xt is equal to apt plus b plus epsilon dt. This is your equation 1. A and b are the parameters. Xt, a demand for a good in period t. Pt is the price prevailing in a single market in time t. A is derivative with respect to price, assuming to be negative, as we know that there is a negative relationship between demand and price. So we assume that the slope or the derivative will be negative. B, that is assumed to be positive, which will be greater than 0. Epsilon t is a random term, a reminder that the economic laws, even at their best, are not deterministic. Instead, laws in that hold on average. For more details or the references, the students are advised to follow the book Blanchard, Stanley Fischer Lectures on Macroeconomics, MIT Express, 1989. So this was all about the dynamic models in economics. Thank you so much.